Hi, this is Kristen Rickner with Instructional Technology and Assessment, a recap in 5 minutes of what we've learned in EDFN 530 using Jan Shipley's book, 7 Strategies of Assessment for Learning. As reported by NPR's Alex Spiegel, Robert Rosenthal in 1964 did a systematic study in elementary schools and found that teachers' expectations affect how students perform. A boy jumps up sort of vociferously, "I know the answer, I know the answer, I know the answer." The poor teacher says, "Johnny, you're out of line here. We need you to sit down." Johnny no longer wants to participate. But then teacher 2 makes a difference, saying, "Johnny, tell me more about what you think is going on, but also I want you to sit down quietly now as you tell that to me." Johnny then wants to participate, and other kids see how well you have treated the student. Throughout this course, we use 7 strategies of assessment for learning in EDFN 530. Strategies focus on focused practice and revision, effective feedback with reflection and sharing, assessment and focused instruction, and it starts all with learning targets and strong goal setting. Here's a brief review of the 7 strategies. They focus on both summative and formative assessment, and both of them should support the learning. Formative assessment is the use of information gathered to adjust teaching and learning as needed, and then it's not the feedback that increases learning, but rather the student's actions in response to the feedback. You also need clear learning targets. Where are you going? You need to deconstruct the standards into student-friendly language and provide strong and weak examples of student work. For example, I played basketball in high school, and at halftime the coach would draw out our plays that he wanted us to execute. He drew arrows that showed movements. I smiled and nodded and rarely executed the plays because I didn't understand what was going on. Hopefully clear learning targets will help. And rubrics. They can help clarify and simplify the wording of standards so kids have clear learning targets. Make them descriptive rather than evaluative or quantitative to do the job to get the information that you want. Good job doesn't help nearly as much as recognition for effort when linked to intended learning targets. In basketball, good job isn't nearly as effective as "you set a fantastic pick, which helped us recover the ball." Make sure it happens during the learning and addresses any partial understanding. Successful feedback is important. It does not do the thinking for the student. It limits correctives on which the students should act on. Done well, it produces long-term effects in students and creates a solid sense of self-efficacy, and that gives them a faith in themselves that they will succeed, so they want to keep on trying. Feedback should not begin with "I like how you." Instead, it should focus on next steps. Focus on the learning, not the learner. That way, students can move forward with or without you. Have you ever conferenced with a student and wanted to do it quickly because 5 other students were waiting? So you quickly marked up their text so they could make revisions and edit their work and move on, and you can check that off? This doesn't create student growth. Only their goal to have a perfect paper to please you. Using symbols like this causes the students to become a detective with his or her own work, and they can find errors, and that promotes long-term growth. Peer feedback is a piece that I need to continue to grow on and be patient with and teach it well. Scaffolding, it helps too. It's not about making friends with the peers and helping them feel better about the work they did. It's about teaching students to have a work meeting where students describe a requirement of a task and classmates can help. In junior high, my basketball coach taught me to take away the baseline by spending a few minutes with me. From then on, opponents couldn't get by me very well. I was given a clear learning target with focused instruction and was able to self-assess my success and need for improvement. Linking feedback and self-assessment. Ask students to describe what they have done, where they have exceeded, and where they have not. Let them learn to talk about it rather than waiting on you. You'll only be with them 9 to 10 months, and then from there, they'll need to move on. Okay? Teachers can do less, but do it more effectively. They need to be able to teach students to self-assess. With the learning gains, provide students with opportunities for a combination of peer feedback and self-assessment. This can cause them to achieve at significantly higher levels without more instruction. Self-evaluation must be linked with the instruction so students learn and perceive. Diagnosing needs for focused instruction can help close the gap. Whether learning occurs is directly influenced by the steps we and our students take after the instruction. So we have to plan for reciprocity between the instruct and assess. And don't forget the feedback loop. What do I need to do today to make this a better learning place for students tomorrow? I can ask as the teacher. The feedback loop is important when planning instruction and finding ways for students to have focused practice time. In addition, we need to pay attention to when students are working but not making progress, and then help them adopt more profitable approaches. Tracking, reflecting on, and sharing is target strategy 7. A key for us is to have students link the pieces together to not just teach for the test or because it's part of the curriculum. When I played basketball in 7th grade, I was proud I never fouled anyone. I didn't understand that that's a bad thing. It meant I wasn't aggressive enough. Throughout the course, we used a few different websites and apps to help us with our learning. These are some of my favorite ones for 3rd grade in which I teach. Websites also help kids meet their learning goals, and effective teachers ask, what do I need to do today to make this a better place for students tomorrow? Integrating technology can help lessons and spark learners. And finally, the power of yet. Teaching is connecting with students and finding ways to help them learn more than they think they can. Jopi writes, it is giving them time to reflect so that they can grow more than they thought was possible. Do everything in your power to create a positive, motivating, and confidence-building environment, and you will have had a successful year along with your students.